If you have a chair handy, 2 blankets, maybe a mat, bring those tools over here and let's play with some asana. Yeah? If you don't have a chair and you have already some experience in your asana practice, it will be a fun challenge for you to still participate in the work that we'll be doing without the chair. But that I'll leave up to you. I personally love the chair so much because it gives me a chance to experience more, to go deeper in a pose. So maybe that'll be the case for you as well, but in any case, that's what we are exploring today. And we are going to start by just loosening up the hips a little bit, the hamstrings, and preparing the body to go into some back bend work. Some of the back bend work that we'll do will be more restorative, and some of it will require a little bit more effort, but nevertheless, all done with a great deal of mindfulness and exchanging with the body's own wisdom, always calling upon that to see what's appropriate to step into and what's best to modify. Okay, so what I'd like for you to do to begin is take one blanket to kneel on. Okay, but leave that there for now. Just come to standing at first and take your right leg, step it up like so on the chair, and then bring the right foot to the left edge of the chair, bend the bottom leg, and then step that back leg, the left leg for me, onto the blanket for a moment. And here we're going into the a variation of the pigeon pose. So that front shin, the right shin, as parallel as you can have it. And then from here, I'm going to navigate my head under the back seat of the chair. If you have an open one there as well, you can do that too. Otherwise, just back off a little bit, yeah? So here, as I navigate my head under, the nice thing is that then I have this, the back of the chair to press my head up against. And so I'm using these tools as boundaries so that I can experiment with more space along the area of the pelvis, right? Because that's what I'm looking to open here. So I'm pressing my elbows down, my forearms out onto the chair. That straight leg, the left leg, I'm really focusing on the inner groin of that leg extending out to the inner heel. And then, of course, the outer shin that's up onto the chair, I'm pressing that down to encourage more of an opening through the right side of the pelvic floor, lengthening the spine. Right hip moves back, lengthening through the spine. Right hip moves back and out to the right. Breathe. The spine is long. And then from here, bend that bottom leg again and release your head from the contraption there. And then let's go ahead and straighten that right leg out in front. And so here I'm moving in the direction of Hanumanasana. Opening up the hamstrings to the degree that you can. Take your hands on either side of the chair. Lift yourselves up a little. So see that now I'm coming off of that back knee, and nudge your body forward just so that you have the entire set of hamstrings, those 3 lovely muscles in the back of the leg, pressing up against the chair. So you're taking the quadriceps, those 4 muscles out in front, and really pressing them down into the femur bone so that there's more of an opening through the back of the legs. Here you can experiment with bringing your hands up onto the top of the seat. Keep those kidneys nice and full. Keep breathing into the back lungs, the side lungs as well. Don't forget, you're looking to create more space as you go into these shapes. Yeah, so that's always a priority. And then if you want to reach your arms up and explore being that courageous monkey that leaped across the oceans with his big heart of devotion. And then go ahead and bring the arms down. Bring that back knee down. Step that right leg in. Now, bring that leg in more to the edge of the seat so that you have the thighs right up against the side ribs here. So it's like you're pressing the thighs onto the ribs, but you also like you're stimulating the intestines, yes, especially the upper, the middle, lower, upper intestines here. So a wonderful way to cleanse, breathe. And then you should be feeling tremendous work on your left hip flexors, right? Like really opening that up. So enjoy that as well. Lengthening, so the verticalness of your spine, you're really looking to cultivate that. And notice that the more you press down onto that right leg, the bent leg, the top leg I should say, the easier it is for you to lift through the torso. Similar with the back leg. The more you press that back knee down, the more you can release through the pelvis on the left side. So using that force of pressing down to create more space. And then from here, let's take that right leg back and let's do a little modified downward facing dog just to see the effects on that side of the body and the right side. So stepping back, reaching the arms forward, and just notice what it feels like on your right side versus the left side. To me, the right side can really decompress. Yeah, the torso can really let go. Is where the left side is more hesitant. And that's the gift we get by opening up those legs and hips. So then, let's go ahead and do the second side. You can stay right as you are. I'm just going to move the chair so it's a little bit easier to see. Again, you do want blankets for your knees if they're sensitive. You may not feel the need for it, but just in case, here they are. And again, start standing. This time bringing the left leg up, taking the foot across, and then coming down. As you bring that left shin down, you can step that right knee back at first. Just to take a moment here to adjust, as you really want to rely on the seat. Yeah, if you're doing it on the floor, then it's on the floor. Rely on the seat as support system to open the hip, right? Like this is what we want, to open this guy up. So, like I did before, I'm going to maneuver my head under. This may or may not be what you can do depending on the equipment that you have. But so here, the elbows are pressing down, the shoulders are relaxed, they're back on their sockets, the back leg straightens. From the inner groin of that back leg, you extend out, back. And as you press down the outer shin on the front leg, you're opening up that left hip, opening it, opening it, opening it. Breathing. Surely this is a pose that you can stay in for quite some time and enjoy the unraveling, the unfolding of discovering more space. But I will leave you to do that on your own. Yeah? Here for us together is just for you to get some ideas, and then press the replay if you like until you're comfortable with doing it on your own. So then the knee goes down. And then that left leg straightens. So this is great, right? Like If you feel the stretch and the opening, then this is where you stay. You may need to even adjust, bring that height on that bottom knee higher, maybe a bolster down there, depending on the flexibility, wherever you are at, right? You need to meet yourself where you are and then open from there. But then, provided you can, take the entire femur bone over the prop, then you have that nice place to stamp into. So it's like you want to stamp down this bone onto the chair as much as you can. And of course, if the chair is cold, uncomfortable, then you use your second blanket over the chair, please. And if it's there for you to come off of that back leg, you come into Hanumanasana. So your hips are leveled here. You're extending out through that front leg as much as you're extending back through the back leg. And then from the pubis, from the very base of the spine, you are lifting, rising up. From the side ribs, helping those arms come up, while the shoulder blades still move down towards the waist. Breathing into the back lungs, the side lungs. Filling up the torso with life force. And using the engagement of the legs to assist you in accessing that space. As you're ready, release the arms. And then slide back. The left foot now stamps onto the chair. And here, again, yes, you have this nice connection of the thigh and the inner organs, while at the same time opening that right hip. So breathe here. So I'm using the back seat of the chair, depending on what kind of chair you have. You may be able to do this as well, to pull into so that I can come even closer contact with that front thigh. Pressing down through both legs to lift higher through my torso. While breathing, while exploring, where can I engage more so as to find more freedom? That's the conversation. Maybe take that right arm up just to feel the length on that right side from the very base. And once more, let's go into that variation of downward facing dog just to notice if now both sides feel a little bit more even. And also, if you want, if you have a blanket on the chair, you can rest your forehead on the blanket, and that's very soothing. And your hands, they can be inside of the chair, and then you can press them out onto the edge of the chair, and that should feel good as well. And you can take the feet a little back further if you feel the need. If the spine is not decompressing, right? If the top of the sacrum is not dipping down, then you definitely want to take the legs further. Or you can also just bend the legs like so. Oh, that feels wonderful. It's a nice way to release each vertebra. I'm engaging my glutes here also. All right, and then from here, let's come to standing. And let's experiment with our first back bend. Let's have it be a restorative one, okay? So go ahead and come to the side like so. Slide one leg in and through. Slide the other leg in and through. And then here, get that other blanket out of the way, it's not needed. You want to make sure that there's a blanket here for the edge because you're going to be coming onto this edge. And if you don't have a blanket, it may feel a little bit too hard. So the key here is before going back, is take your forearms on both sides and press them down. And keep your chin in to protect your neck. Okay, and then slide your way as you will. And so here, still keep the chin in until you take your hands to the base of the skull and use the hands as a little hammock support for your cervical spine. And the thoracic spine also, like just let everything hang for a bit. So just breathing here. And now, through the base, what you are looking to do is press down onto your feet so much that you encourage the glutes to move up. And as you do, you open more to the front of the pelvis. Yeah? So experiment with that here before you go into a back bend, because that will support your lumbar. And then once you have that, pressing down through the feet, lifting up. It's almost like you're trying to lift your glutes off of the chair. It's not going to happen, but aim in that direction. And then from there, release the arms back. Of course, if this is a strain on your neck, you come back to that little hammock. But if you may feel okay, and of course it's a strain on the low back, come back slowly to where you were. But the more you press onto your feet, the more you lift the glutes up, like you're literally trying to lift them off of the chair, the less discomfort you will experience in the lumbar. All right, and then from here, tuck your chin in again. Use your hands if you like. Use your forearms. Slowly come up. We're going to open up the front of the legs a little bit more. Take a little gentle twist, and then experiment with this in an even more advanced way. Perhaps you'll be available then. Take your left leg through and bring it out around to the other side. Leave your right leg back behind you. Okay, and then from here, that right thigh is now going to be on the seat of the chair, both hands down. From the inner groin of that right leg, you're extending back. Left leg is bent. And now take your left hand to your left thigh, press down on it, and give yourselves a nice little twist. And as you do, you may want to bend that straight leg. Press that against the seat of the chair. The spine is long, 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 long spine. You're revolving from that length and from inside. And if it's there for you, bring your arm up if it feels appropriate. Make sure that right shoulder is in its socket, low. And then come on back. And slowly use both hands to bring yourselves up. And here, we can come into a warrior two. Nice way to engage the legs, to open the hips. You can use your hand there on the seat to lift up more through that side. And then from here, how about Parsvottanasana, where you go into that extended angle pose. So take your forearm on your left side, press it down. And then here, you can press that right hand onto the seat and have it encourage you to lengthen more through the entire torso. See how that feels. Maybe you can take that left hand down onto the seat of the chair. Use that to encourage that left knee to move back. And then the right arm can come all the way up. Open, open, open. More space. How can I find it? In. Use the back seat of the chair again. Use the arms. So it's like, why not use all the support? And then you can go and really open up in the pose. So now let's do the second side. Taking your left leg in. And then stepping the right leg back. Coming all the way around. And here again, bring yourselves forward so that the top of your left thigh is on the chair. That leg is straight. And strong and active. Legs strong, active, especially if you go into a twist, right? So that you have all that freedom to unravel. That left shoulder is plugged in. Right hand can come right onto the thigh. Use that as leverage to lengthen more through the torso. And then as you twist, you may want to bend that back leg if you did that on the other side. Open through the collarbones. You're lifting the sternum up, up, up towards the head. And if it's there for you, reach that arm up. And slowly find your way back in. Using the chair, bringing yourselves up and back around. So now we get to take that back bend a little bit further, provided the part one worked okay on your lumbar, okay? So as we did before, forearms first, tucking the chin in to protect your neck. Slide your way as you need to. Use the hands as for a little hammock to support you. Before going any further, make sure that you are bringing the glutes up as you press those feet down. That's really, really important, especially if we decide to go deeper into this opening. It's like the tips of the shoulders ideally are right at the edge of the seat, so that way the tips move in, the sternum can open, and things can release a little further. Like we did before, if the arms are there for you to reach all the way back, do it. And then one leg at a time, straighten. See how that feels. As you straighten one leg, please press down into that heel and lift up towards that glute. If that feels all right, bring it back in. Experiment on the other side. See how that feels. Pressing down through the heel, lifting up through the glutes. Breathing. Lift up through the glutes more, especially if the lower back is compressing. You need that lumbar to not be compressed, please. Or just keep the legs bent. And bend. If this was okay on both sides, then go ahead and straighten both legs. Otherwise, keep both legs bent, pressing down through the legs. And so here is your passive back bend. I mean, not really passive because you are working those legs quite a bit, but more passive than, say, Ustrasana, for example, where you really are operating with a lot of effort through the entire body, right? Like at least the torso here can just hang. But that's only, of course, if the lumbar is happy with it. Otherwise, back off. All right, so then as we went in, bend one leg, bend the other, tuck the chin in, using the elbows to assist you in coming up. Just take a moment here to sit, to just be, to notice, to feel. And now we'll experiment with Shalambasan. So that's a more active back bend. But we'll do it in a really lovely way because we have the chair. So it's like our solar plexus can be supported and lifted. So it gives us a chance to feel like we're flying a little bit. So what I'd like for you guys to do here is you have the option of having this with the head or back behind. Either way, you have to maneuver your way a little bit. But the idea is that you come around, the solar plexus will be resting on the chair. You come around. And let's go ahead here and reach the right leg back and the right arm forward. So see, because I have the chair, the seat of the chair here, I can use that from my head to push into, and that kind of begins to open up my whole spine, which is really lovely. So these guys are straight. And then take the left arm through, back. And then from here, leave the right side as it is with the foot down, the arm up, and then just straighten the left leg. Straighten the left leg, lift it up. So this begins to give you a sense of your Shalambasan pose. And then please go ahead and bend that leg, catch a hold of the ankle, and then lift it up a little bit higher if it's there for you. Breathing. Now see that as you release the leg, if you can maintain that height, or at least a little bit more height. See if you can. All right, and then go ahead and release. And here's a wonderful way to release, because you have that chair to support you in being able to just dangle. And then from here, let's do the second side. So now, left leg is straight, left arm is straight, like so. Right arm comes through. And then as you're ready, reach the right leg back and right arm back. Breathe. So the spine, those back muscles, your extensors are working a lot. And this is a really important way to protect our backs, right? Go ahead and bend that leg. If you can catch it, lift it up. Breathe. Breathe. Now see if you can leave that height as you straighten the leg again. Stay with your breath. And then once more, let's just dangle for a bit. Really let everything go. All right, so now let's do the full pose, both sides. Let's go ahead and we'll leave the arms out in front. And we'll take them back like so. Okay, so start out with your hands on the ground or maybe on the back of the chair. Lift both legs up. Straighten the legs, really straighten the legs as best you can. Like around the area of the knees, really tighten that area. Broaden through the shoulders, lift the collarbones up. Breathe and fly. Broaden through the collarbones, broaden through the shoulders. Really engage through the legs. Fly. And as you're ready, land back down softly. So this is one definitely worth repeating again and again on your own. If you're looking to strengthen your back, this is the kind of back bend to do, right? Now we're going to do a little revolving work just to kind of clear all that up. And we'll turn the chair like so. And we will sit to the side of the chair. Actually, I'm not going to use the blanket on this. You may choose to, up to you. Just sitting to the side of the chair. So sit to so that the back of the chair is to your left. Okay, so we're together on the rights and lefts. And then from here, nudge your right leg back. And then come into a variation of warrior one with the heel up. There. Hips are aligned. From the very base of the spine, you are rising. So very similar to the Hanumanasana pose, right? Except that the hamstrings are not so much in action here. You do have that hip flexor working on the right side. But from the base being very sturdy, you are lifting and you're rising. And then we move into a twist, rotating towards the back of the chair. Take your hands, pressing the left hand onto the back seat to encourage the whole left side of the body to move back. And then pulling with the right to encourage the whole right side of the torso to move to the right and forward. Breathe. So we did Parsvottanasana a little bit earlier, right? That extended angle pose. So now we're going to revolve that, the Pavrita kind. So let's go ahead and take that right arm onto the chair. I like to take my thumb right into the crease of the hip to encourage it to move back. As you come here, elbows down. So using that as support, you notice that I lose my back leg a little bit for now. I will re-engage it just at the right moment. So you may want to experiment with it in the same way as I do. Press down through that left hand to begin to encourage that space, that length through the spine. And then breathe here to find that length in the spine. Pressing down through the left foot. And now begin to find that back leg. From the inner groin to the inner heel, you're lengthening, lengthening, lengthening. And then for some of you that want to feel more of the full expression of that pose, you can take the right hand onto the back seat of the chair and then take that left arm all the way up, all the way up. Broadening, opening, lengthening, and revolving from inside. Inhaling your way back. And just take a moment to just sit here and be with this. And as you're ready, second side. You can stay right as you are. I am going to move the chair. So this time, the back seat of the chair is to your right. And then let's go ahead and lunge that left leg back. And then find warrior one. So warrior one variation with the back heel up. Reaching up. Breathe. Like I see it as from the base of my spine, I'm being liberated, freed up to fly. And then the base is really like it's there for me, structured, solid, rooted, to allow me that experience. All right, so as you're ready, the right hand pushes onto the back of the chair, but have the movement come more from the inside. So it's a push, but it's really a reminder that from the inside, that right side is moving back. A reminder that as you pull through the left, you are encouraging that left side of the torso to revolve as well. From the base of the spine, rise up, and then on the out breath, revolve. From the base of the spine, rise up, and revolve on the out breath, while the legs are stable there for you. Left forearm onto the chair. You can press down on the top of the seat on the right. I kind of let go of that leg for a moment now just to find that length, find that space. And then from here, I begin to activate that back leg also, so I can go further into the twist. Left arm, left hand, if available, to the back seat of the chair. And the right arm reaches. Inhale, length. Exhale, revolve. As you're ready, come on back. Breathing in. And just sitting for a moment. Just to assimilate, to receive all this work that you have done. And so that we end in a more neutral place, let's come on back into where we were a little while ago, with the forehead on the seat. So using the blanket so that the forehead is well supported. Hands out to the side, but this time with the legs bent, like you're doing happy baby, but not in a supine position, yeah? In a suspended position. So here, forehead is resting on the seat. Forehead is also moving towards the ridge of your nose. The legs are active. Outer glutes are engaged, but the torso is resting onto your thigh. Shoulder blades moving back towards the waist. And as you're ready, come back into that seat of the chair. And here I will suggest lying down with your feet up on the chair for Shavasana, giving yourselves a good little bit of time on that just to dissolve and release. Maybe while in that Shavasana, you can focus on dissipating heat from the body, breathing out through the right nostril, and then breathing in through the left nostril, and out through the right, and in through the left. Doing that a few times. See if you can do it without having to use your fingers if you're accustomed to using the fingers. Just dissipating heat. And then letting go of the breathing practice and just receiving the peacefulness, the calm, and the capacity to restore the body by doing merely nothing at all. Thank you for joining me for practice. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Namaste.